Live, local, late breaking. This is Newswatch 12 this morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:30 on October 16th. Welcome to Newswatch 12 this morning. I'm Carlos Murrieta. We're taking a live look out of South Medford from the Compass Hotel. We want to turn over to Storm Tracker 12 meteorologist Sarah Kress for a look at your Thursday. And Sarah, would you say today's a good idea to turn on those cars a little bit earlier to get those defrosters to going?
Oh, 110%, because it's one, going to be cold. You're going to want that too. And your windows might get a little bit foggy this morning too if you're into our west side valleys. But those temperatures are feeling rather frigid across the region, especially if your area is over east side. Seeing lots of 20s, 24 into Klamath Falls currently. As we're into Northern California, we have 35 for Montague, 44 for Medford, 45 over to Brookings. Looking out at Medford from Peoples Bank on Biddle Road, I'm keeping a close eye out for those low clouds to develop this morning as well too. Seeing them into a few areas, could even see some areas of fog. I'm expecting them to clear out quickly as you're working your way through the morning today. So out to the bus stop in the Rogue Valley. If you're in Medford, I'm thinking you might see those temperatures in the 40s, but there's a chance that we have those temperatures to drop into the 30s heading out the door. So just be prepared, because a few areas like Cave Junction are feeling rather chill. Now when you're heading home, we'll see plenty of clouds. They're going to increase across the region, and it is going to be feeling a little bit warmer into your afternoon, so that's something you should look forward to. Heading out to the growers market this morning, it is going to be on the chiller side. But for today, those high temperatures around the rest of the region are going to be feeling very fall-like. Nothing really too concerning in terms of your forecast today. Around the region, it is going to be into the lower 60s for your east side areas. We'll see mid to upper 60s into Northern California and into our west side valleys. But I'll have a closer look at what you can expect ahead today coming up in your next forecast.
Starting on the crime alert this morning, an armed suspect in a domestic disturbance is now dead after an officer-involved shooting took place yesterday afternoon in Eagle Point. Newswatch 12 was at the scene where multiple agencies are investigating the incident. Eagle Point police officers were dispatched to Onyx Street for a domestic disturbance, and shortly after, while two officers were investigating the incident, Jackson County sheriffs told Newswatch 12 a weapon was shown and the officers discharged their firearms to defend themselves. Major assault and death investigations were called to the scene, with Oregon State Police as the lead agency.
Person of interest in this case is deceased. One officer did sustain some minor injury during the altercation, but it's non-life-threatening.
Eagle Point High School, Hillside Elementary, and the district office were all placed on lockdown as a precaution, which was lifted soon after. This is a developing story, and we'll have updates both on air and online. And a Klamath Falls man with an active felony warrant has been arrested after firing a gun in a residential neighborhood. A special response team and the Klamath County Sheriff's Office responded to reports of gunshots on Summers Lane Monday. The suspect was quickly identified as Jeremy Budzuski, and Summers Lane was shut down for approximately 5 hours as police worked to resolve the situation. Budzuski was taken into custody and faces multiple charges. And new this morning, a discovery near Gold Beach has led investigators to believe they found the remains of a woman missing since May. Now, the case started in West Lynn but ended here on the South Coast. Curry County search and rescue teams were called after a hunter found a car in a remote forest road outside Brookings. Inside was a wallet belonging to 81-year-old Judith Roberts, who has been missing since May. Search and rescue teams later found what's believed to be her remains near the vehicle, and West Lynn police are expected to release more details as the investigation continues. Grants Pass Mayor Clint Scherf has announced upcoming temporary absence, as Scherf made the announcement on social media, sharing that he'll be tending to a family member recovering from a fall. Scherf said he's handing over his physical duties to Council President Victoria Marshall. He also said he'll coordinate with the city manager and city attorney about his indirect involvement going forward. And a new rendering of the Creekside Quarter project has been unveiled ahead of a town hall panel discussion later today. The render shows various parking areas, and today's panel discussion will include several panelists from the Downtown Medford Association, Medford City Council, the Chamber of Medford and Jackson County, and the Eugene Emeralds. That panel will take place at 5:30 p.m. in the RCC SOU Higher Education Building. And moving on to a traffic alert, travelers near the Moon Complex area should plan ahead as Forest System Road 3300 or Agnes Road will be closed tomorrow for critical repairs. A damaged culvert at milepost 46.2 will close the road for about 19 days. A bypass road is open, adding an hour each way. Drivers are being urged to drive slowly as firefighters will also use the road. Replacement is essential to prevent road failure and sediment from entering streams that supply powers with drinking water. And moving on to a school watch, the Grants Pass High School students spoke out at a district board meeting Tuesday night, sharing their concerns regarding an ongoing issue they faced this year. Now, during the public comment period at the district board meeting, students described what they see as selective and unfair enforcement of the current dress code policy. The current dress code policy outlines disciplinary actions for violations, including removal from class. One student said the consequences directly interfere with learning.
On your second offense, as stated in the handbook, is the student is removed from class and placed in ISSS. But by doing this, aren't you restricting learning? You take me out of classes like AP Government, AP Bio. For instance, I'm missing those classes for my clothing.
Despite the concerns raised, the school board offered minimal response during the meeting and ultimately voted unanimously to move forward with policy JFCA. And with the Great Oregon Shakeout taking place later this morning, it's important for Oregonians to be prepared and understand what an earthquake could mean for the state. Chris Goldfinger, a professor and researcher of earthquake behavior at Oregon State University, recently published a paper for a study that showed the Cascadia Fault in Oregon, Washington, and the San Andreas Fault in California could be linked with the potential of one earthquake sparking another. The original study first started in 2008, but with new research coming out using core sample from fault lines in both locations, Goldfinger says it's shown that an earthquake on the Cascadia Fault will trigger one on the San Andreas Fault.
Cascadia goes off, and it looks like from our data, triggering of the San Andreas is not the exception or the black swan. It's the rule. And the more normal case would be for Cascadia to go, and then sometime later, which could be minutes or hours, or it could be days or weeks, or it could be a few decades, that San Andreas would go.
Goldfinger says with this added information and data to the study, it's important for residents across all three states to be prepared, especially since it's unclear when a triggered earthquake could strike. And Phoenix High School had its annual Pirate Country Parade celebrating their homecoming week. The parade had several of community members in attendance. There were floats from different schools and organizations, including one carrying the homecoming court. The homecoming parade was celebrated throughout downtown Phoenix, and the grand marshal for this year's parade was Joe Agler, a Phoenix High School alum and six-time inductee in the PHS Athletic Hall of Fame. And Circular Action Alliance and Recycle in Oregon opened its first of 140 centers for hard-to-recycle materials in Ashland. Now, the site is offering free drop-off collection for packaging that isn't currently accepted in homes or business recycling bins. These include plastic bags, handles, shredded paper, and aluminum foil. Circular Action Alliance says that it's important for recycling to be clear throughout all of Oregon.
Recycling has been confusing, which has prevented people from participating and people from recycling right. One of the goals of the Recycling Modernization Act is to standardize recycling across the state.
More locations will be opening in southern and central Oregon before the end of the year. And for more information on the site and their hours, you can visit our website. And starting later this morning, Rogue Community College is hosting dollar clothing sales to support student scholarships. The RCC, chapter of the American Association for Women in Community Colleges, was at the Riverside campus in Medford earlier this week, But today they'll be at the Redwood campus in Grants Pass, and you can find gently used shoes, clothing, and accessories all for just $1. All proceeds will go directly to student scholarships. And if you're looking for a reason to try something new or just enjoy a night out, downtown Medford restaurants are giving you that reason. Forks and Friends Restaurants Weeks kicks off tomorrow, bringing special menus and local flavor to the table. The event runs October 17th through the 23rd, featuring multi-course meals at set prices. Restaurants across downtown Medford are showcasing their best dishes, many using fresh, locally sourced ingredients, and the week-long celebration aims to highlight the city's diverse dining options and give food lovers a chance to experience something new without breaking the bank. And there are just 10 days left to donate new or gently used coats to any one of our more than 50 donation locations, and all you have to do is drop a coat into one of our red donation barrels, and then we'll take care of the rest. So we'll clean it and help distribute them to local kids in need. If you don't have a coat to donate, you can still make a monetary donation for a brand new coat on our website at kdrv.com. And we just want to say thank you so much for helping make this campaign a success every single year. So thank you so much to everyone who helps us out.